Okay, for Wednesday, August 26th today, I'm going to read to you guys just a little bit from Forged by Fire for your reading notebook. Now, in a daily routine, you would read for at least 20 minutes, because in class we're going to read for 20 minutes. And then you would do your reading notebook. So this week I'm just giving you little parts of different books because I want you exposed to some books that are really important to me, some books we might read in class, and then just some different things. So this book today is Forged by Fire. It is written by Sharon Draper, who's one of my absolute favorite authors. She's an African-American woman, and she kind of broke ground as being a African-American woman as an author for young adults. And so this is technically the second book in the series. However, if you read this one first and you read the first one second, it makes more sense. There's some different things. I'm not going to give away details. And so I'm going to read just a little bit of it, and then we're going to do a reading notebook over it. If you don't sit your stinking useless butt back down in that shopping cart, I swear I'll bust your greasy face in. She screamed at the 3-year-old in front of her. He studied her face, decided she was serious, and put his leg back inside the cart. He was standing near the front end of the cart amidst an assorted pile of cigarette boxes, egg cartons, and pop bottles. He didn't want to sit down anyway because of the soft, uncomfortable load in his pants, which had been there all afternoon and which felt cold and squishy when he moved too much. So what's in his pants? Pretty gross. I want to remind you that he's 3, so maybe he has accidents, but left in his pants all day. He rarely had accidents like that, but when he did, Mama sometimes made him keep in his pants all day to teach him a lesson. Gerald was only 3, but he had already learned many such lessons. He'd never seen Sesame Street, never heard of Riverfront Stadium. He didn't even know he lived in Cincinnati. But he knew the important things, like never mess with Mama when she was in bed. Mama got really mad when you woke her up, especially if she had somebody in bed with her. And never touch a hot thing that Mama used to light her cigarettes, even if the mysterious orange and blue fire that comes out of it liked to tease you and dance, for only a moment before running away. Mama had once caught Gerald playing with the lighter, and she made the fire come out, and she held his hand right over the flame. It wasn't his friendly fire dancer, though, but a cruel red soldier that made his hand scream and made him dizzy with pain, and he could smell something like the meat Mama cooked, but it was his hand. When she stopped, she had washed his hand with the cold water and soothed him with warm hugs and wrapped him with salve and bandage, the place where the fire soldier had stabbed him. She had told him that she had done it for his own good and to teach him a lesson. He had tried to tell her that he was just trying to find the fire dancer, but she wasn't listening, and he had given up. And he was thankful for the hugs and the silence. So she caught him playing with the lighter. And what does she do when he plays with the lighter? So that's going to be one of your questions. One other lesson that Gerald had learned was never, never stay near Mama when she sniffed the white stuff. She got it from a man named Leroy who smelled too sweet and smiled too much. When he leaves, you hide behind the couch and hope Aunt Queen comes over, because sometimes Mama yells and gets her belt or her shoe and hits and hits and hits. And sometimes she just goes to sleep on the floor and it gets dark and you cry and your tummy feels tight and hurty, but at least there's no shoe to run away from. Once Aunt Queen had found Gerald curled up behind the couch sucking his thumb. His pajamas were soaked and smelly, and he was shivering and hungry. Mama had been gone all day. She had told him not to leave the room, and he had really, really tried to be good, but he was so cold, so very cold. Aunt Queen had taken him to his apartment and given him a warm bath, a bowl of hot soup, and some warm fuzzy slippers. And even though she had to pin the back of them so they wouldn't fall off, then Mama had come, and she and Aunt Queen had yelled and screamed so much that Gerald had to hold his ears while he lay curled on the foot of the bed. Finally, Mama started crying, and Aunt Queen was saying stuff like, "I know, honey," and Gerald knew he was going back home. That night, Mama had hugged him and kissed him and held him close until he fell asleep. Gerald had felt so warm and special and golden. He wanted to feel like that forever. He knew his Mama loved him. She had given him a G.I. Joe man last week, and it wasn't even his birthday or Christmas or anything. And most days she combed his hair and dressed him in clean clothes and told him to say yes, ma'am, to grown folks. And sometimes, on really good days, she would hug him and say, "You know you're my best baby boy, don't you, Gerald? You know you're my baby, don't you?" And he would smile and get that warm, golden feeling and start at his toes and feel all the way up to his smile. Even though Mama had yelled at him today, it was a good day. Mama always yelled. It was no big deal. Some days he yelled back at her, and then she would slap him in. He'd cry and he'd cuss at her, and she would slap him until his head hurt. So he mostly ignored her. But today was a good day, a shiny day, he thought. The sun was bright gold outside against a clear blue sky, and inside the grocery store there were many colors and sounds and lights. The Gerald just grinned. It was always crowded when they went. Other children were being carts also. They would have to pass very close next to each other. Gerald liked to pretend he was driving a fast, silver, fine cart on the expressway. All right, so there's going to be some questions for today. So today's Wednesday. You'll have questions for Thursday and for Friday as well, and then you'll turn that in. It'll be due on Sunday. For my in-person kids, it'll be due on Friday. Have a good day.